is brought to you by ASTRO, Monster Energy, Corsair, Zowie, and Intel.
Welcome back to Valencia, Spain. It's a city of culture. Look at that architecture, and look at that architecture as well. That one was a sandcastle. I'm not sure if you could tell the difference. It was very impressive. But we're not here for the architecture. We are here for Counter-Strike because it is DreamHack Astro Open. And we have 8 teams who are playing for that trophy there. All the teams are still in right now, but we're trying to find out who's going to go straight in to the semi-final. We already have one team there, Heroic, and now NIP and CLG are going to try and take that second spot in the semi-finals and go straight into day 3. My name is James, and I am joined here by Vendetta and Jacob. Whew, what a day. We're on the last match of the day.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Yeah, very excited. Honestly, could be the best game of the day so far. And we've had some good games. Obviously, a very exciting start to the day. But CLG versus NIP, it's 2 teams that have, an upward trending, trajectory and form. So I think that's pretty much the first matchup we've had where both teams are actually on the rise. Yeah. So it's going to be fun to see.
Awesome. Before we jump into it, before we have a chat about this game in particular, I do want to remind you, as I did earlier, about DreamHack Masters in Malmo. It's coming up in about 2 months, and to tell you a little bit more about it, we have this short video.
What do you see? I see champions. Legends.
After 4 times in the finals, 3 defeats, they might just pick up the win.
Masters. What defines a master? Is it an unparalleled game sense? Is it the perfect aim? Or is it an iron will to succeed?
Hits the diffuser, Fallen! Oh, that is incredible! Brilliant play for Fallen! Limited vision, limited weapons, doesn't even matter to Prey! Oh, the 4th as well! Taco gets him down, no chance for pass, and a strike, nice shot, snacks up close. And a straight flash high in the sky that won't be able to dodge, means he can go back for more, and he certainly will. Finds a second and a third. Snacks on fire, what a shot!
How much has ASTRO got to bring this round? Rain could be the one to do it all.
Well, this is fast-paced. There's a headshot. Oh, it's second. And a third! Sprays them all down! Dennis is spamming it through the bench, leaving Coldzera in a 1-on-4. There's the first. Looking for a second, he connects it. Oh, and he gets a third as well! Coldzera! The man, the myth, the beast!
If that doesn't make you want to go and watch Counter-Strike at DreamHack Masters Malmo, then I don't know what will. I love that thing. Like I was just saying, like just goose pimples. I love that trailer. Whoever made that needs a raise or a promotion or something. August 30th, as you saw in there, DreamHack Masters Malmo. You guys should go and watch that. As I said earlier, if you haven't gone to watch Counter-Strike in an arena and haven't watched it at the top level like that, then you should just take your team, take your friends, go and watch it. It's awesome. Let's chat a little bit about those teams as well that are going to be there, one of which we're about to watch.
Yeah.
and reigning Masters champions.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Albeit with a different lineup, though, you know, in similar fashion, new member on the squad. So, you know, maybe there's, you know, a chance for a repeat there. We'll have to see, but definitely an incredibly stacked tournament in terms of what teams are going. I think pretty much everyone who's anyone in Counter-Strike in terms of the top teams are going to be there and show their presence. So it should make for an absolutely, you know, wonderful festival of Counter-Strike in that sense.
Yeah, that's the good word for it. Festival of Counter-Strike. I love that. Let's have a look, though, now about the Astro Open in Valencia. Let's look at, we've got this last match coming up, NIP versus CLG. But first, let's look at how they got here. In the Group A, we've already seen Heroic go through to the semi-final, and KPI will be playing tomorrow to reserve their slot, potentially. But this is the group we're looking at now, where we see NIP go up against CLG in the upper bracket. We can see that CLG beat NRG in their US matchup, and on the Swedish side, NIP beat Red Reserve 16-3. Very convincing win. So they're coming off this massive win. How are NIP going to be feeling going into this game?
They're going to be feeling good. They're going to be feeling confident, you know. Especially like you pointed out a lot, like they've only shown themselves being good on cash so far, like really strong on cash, you know. So it must give them some confidence as well that they know they can perform on other maps. I'm sure they themselves have a better feeling of it. They're the one playing, they're the one practicing, you know. So they have an idea of what maps are we good on in practice, what maps are we not so good on, you know. So it's entertaining and interesting for us to see what they actually can, you know. But I'm sure they know themselves where their strengths and where their, like, let's say, less good maps are right now, you know. So it's going to be interesting to see if we're going to pull out a third map and then we can like put that into the basket of these maps can NIP play as of current state, you know. So that's what I'm looking the most forward to. Yeah, we'll find out which maps we're going to be playing very soon. Let's have a look at the CLG lineup. Let's look at their opponents as we go to the stage and run through these teams before we go into the matchup.
Yeah, some new fresh jerseys actually as well there. Rocking the purple this time around, but yeah, Ethan getting ready as well. And from what we saw from this CLG lineup earlier today, it wasn't necessarily the usual suspects that came out to play in terms of having a massive impact in Ricky and Kusta, but it was actually Cutler who's one of the ones leading the charge for that CLG squad. Obviously, like overall, it was a pretty clear-cut team effort. I feel like everybody was contributing, but obviously Cutler taking that top fragging spot, but a very comforting showing, I guess, from CLG, because we did talk about the fact that they did lose Amapet, and the players have multiple times said that, you know, he is a bit of a difference maker. So for them to actually still be able to have reliable performances and actually just still have that groundwork in place to go off of is good to see.
Yeah, main on the screen as well. Like he recently went out in an interview with HLTV saying that Amapet made a difference for them. You know, he was a great coach, and they still praise him despite him changing to the rivals from Optic right now, which is kind of nice to see that it's still like seems like a good blood between them. They still respect each other for the work they did for each other. He also said that like he did a difference, but they can still do it themselves, you know. They're still like the same team, the same players, you know. So they themselves believe that he did a difference, yes, but like ultimately they are the one playing, they're the one on the server, you know, and they can kind of continue with the on-form racing thing they've been going for them.
As a player, how does one deal with that, having like going from a point where you were just able to focus on your game and focus on, you know, being good in Counter-Strike and working as a team, to having to spend more time in your downtime watching demos and stuff like that? How does one deal with that?
Say like usually it only affects one player on the team.
Yeah,
so the in-game leader, you know. The four other guys is still just like running around, doing their thing, focus on their game, you know, and playing deathmatch and whatnot, like in their time off. Whereas the in-game leader, he gets I wouldn't say a bigger responsibility, but maybe a bigger workload. You know, he needs to watch some demos. He needs to prepare his teammates. And
let's be real. He gets the bad end of the stick.
He gets the bad end of the stick.
Pretty bad draw there.
Fair to say.
Well, talking of in-game leaders, Exist is one of those, and let's have a look at him. And oh, look at how happy!
He's been so happy.
That happy, it just makes you feel so warm inside. I love it.
It's like a super genuine smile. Oh, look at that.
They're on good form in terms of personality and happiness right now. They are really like, they were having a good laugh earlier as well when we saw them playing. Run us through these players, some very, very familiar faces and a couple of new ones.
Yeah, like from left we start with the all-time legend Get Right. Like he's been around for ages, and pretty much everyone who watches Counter-Strike and knows what game Counter-Strike is knows Get Right, you know. Forrest as well, like been around for forever, exists the in-game leader, as you pointed out, now with help from the coach Thread, who's behind him, and then the two new guys on the screen right now, Rest, who really turned up in the first game against Red Reserve, were like unstoppable. And like I've had the honor of play against him, and I wouldn't say it was an honor, but I had the,
you did.
I played against him, and it was not always that fun. But he's a very strong player, and like we saw in the first game, when it gets going for him, he's like he doesn't stop. He just keeps pushing until the game is over. Yeah. Until somebody stops him, right? Same goes on for Draken. A very prominent AWPer. Like he's a very skilled AWPer. I played a major qualifier against him a year ago in tours, and he was the one like destroying my dreams of qualifying for that major single-handedly.
No,
so I have a kind of restricted relationship with some of those guys, but then again, you know, respect for the work they do, and added up with legends like Forrest, Get Right, and Exist, you know, it's a dangerous cocktail.
Oh, having Get Right, like clatter his eyelids at you like that, would make anyone weak at the knees. Yeah, make me weak at the knees at least. Okay, do you think we're going to see something? Here we go, ban map. Do you think we're going to see something other than Inferno or Cash?
I'm kind of hoping for it, honestly. I mean, I'm assuming actually that CLG are going to ban out Inferno, because it's been one of their bans as of late. They haven't gotten to it as much, even though during the Pro League season they actually ventured into it. NIP with a standard Mirage ban as well. So yeah, no, if CLG have done their homework, I think you know that they play two maps. It's Cash and it's and it's Inferno. So I think that those are going to be the two first bans for CLG, and there's Inferno already.
I'd love to see a train game or a couple game, because I feel like
there's train
not gonna happen there.
Yeah,
CLG are great on train. I figured Nip would be great on train as well, but apparently on map they haven't practiced yet.
I'm kind of curious as to whether or not they want to leave in Cobble as well, like, because we definitely know that CLG have had a past of doing well on that map as well. Funnily enough, it was one of the like when the second resurgence of NIP started, that's where they did it at. But yeah, again, so we're gonna see a new map because we've seen them play Train, Cobble, Inferno, and Cash. So. Yeah, it's definitely going to be what Pip was hoping for here. So Overpass, new NIP.
Overpass again, yeah, we've seen it a few times this weekend.
It's been a popular pick. It was very popular in Cologne as well, actually. So one of the most played maps. So more and more teams taking a shine to it. To be fair, I'm not opposed to it. I actually enjoy quite a bit watching maps like that. And again, it's going to be a battle of what Snappy mentioned in his interview, actually being able to take map control and work with that from there, because that's really the alpha omega really with that map.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see NIP play Overpass, because in the past it's been one of the maps they've been leaning, like they've been trying to implement in their map pool, but it's never been like one of their strong maps. It's never been like, okay, NIP on Overpass, that's probably a win. You know, you never said that. I never heard anyone say that, at least not that I know of. So. It's gonna be interesting to see if Draken and West maybe have changed that. You know, I know Draken is a great Overpass player. I specifically remember a game against him at the major qualifier where he dropped 35 frags against us and sent us out of the tournament. You know, so I know he can play the map. So, and that's the thing about like adding new players. It can change a map pool for a team as well. Like NIP are not notoriously known for being great on Overpass, but two new players and two new guys with a different approach to the game, like it can change basically the whole dynamic of a team.
Especially because they come from a team in Epsilon that actually used to play Overpass as well. So again, they maybe NIP stopped or didn't actually manage to incorporate that into be a part of their map pool because they ran out of IDs. They tried multiple things. They didn't really have any new impulses that they could draw off of, and maybe that's what Draken and Rez brings as well. And in addition to obviously the obvious aspect of firepower. Yeah. So it's going to be definitely fun to see, and I highly doubt they would have let it go through obviously if they hadn't planned something for it.
Yeah, so quick predictions before we go into the match.
I mean, NIP are my favorites for the tournament, so I feel like I kind of just have to stick with that horse for now.
I think that's fair. That's a fair call.
So even though CLG definitely a solid opponent on Overpass, but I'm going to side with the Swedes.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with NIP as well. I think we're going to see a close game, but I think NIP are the better team, and I wouldn't say I hope it, but I have this feeling that they're on the rise right now, and like with West going off as he did in the first game, I'm having a hard time seeing how CLG is going to stop that.
I will say it's going to be really interesting to see how NIP decide to play off of the double ops when NIP are CT side, because we've seen someone like Gambit play extremely passively on their CT side versus CLG, and CLG still finding a way to actually get opening picks and getting towards the bomb side. And then we saw the opposite with Energy, who played more aggressively, got picked off, and pretty much gave up complete map control very early on. So if NIP can find that sweet spot balance to actually mess with CLG and actually just force them to run out of time, that could be the key to victory.
Yeah, and I agree. You guys have convinced me.
You're joining on the
I'll join
train?
you guys on the side of NIP. Yeah, I think we're very much ready to go into the game. The casters are ready to have a quick chat. Risk and Harry, how you guys doing? You good?
Yeah, we're doing
last
great.
map of the day, last match.
You know, excited somewhat, a little bit sad as well because it means the CS is ending, but it
Only
comes
for one
back
day.
again tomorrow.
Yeah, there's more tomorrow.
Oh yeah, but yeah, exciting game. As I said on the desk so far, I think CLG have a real chance of getting it close, but NIP, like as you echoed already, like Res going off, the team just having so much potential, and the way that Res and Draken coming into the team, changing the map pool. I'm so excited to actually learning more about this NIP map pool, because I saw it in Cologne, and we all saw it on Cash, really good, Train, figured it out as well, and now we're going to see slightly more and more of it.
Cool. So guys, thank you so much, and thanks you guys for your insight. We're going to leave you to finish the game.
Thank you very much, James.
We've been left.
Yeah, no, we've been left. And you know, one of the things that I'm really loving, I know he's done a couple of events now, but seeing Pimp on the desk is great because I think he's got a really kind of unique feature about him. And that's, you know, most of these kind of ex-pro analysts, when they come on, they talk about their experiences playing teams. The fun thing about Pimp is it's always, oh, I got completely wrecked by this guy. And that's just for everyone. And you kind of hear about how badly they beat him, and it lets you gauge, right, like how good they actually are.
Yeah, and I think also Pimp is one of these players that, like...
You're going to go ahead and save this now.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to take the thing you did and then say the opposite, because I think he has so much experience. And
there we go.
Like, of course, Halvor was also playing like CSS and early CSGO on a really high level and still is a great player, but Pimp just has that recent game experience.
The moral of the story is that we love you, Pimp. Anyway,
more events, please,
focusing on the game at hand, NIP versus CLG. In all honesty, right, because we haven't really seen NIP opt to play Overpass all that much, and then when you take into account that now they've got rid of Freiburg, they've bought in Rez, you've also got Draken within the roster. They didn't play it, you know, when they had Draken and Freiburg. Now they're going to be playing it for the first time with Rez as their additional player. I am curious to see how this pans out, but I do think, you know, the element of surprise is both good and bad, right? Like, we could see them come into this and just go above and beyond expectations, do really well. They've been practicing it, reinvigorated, they look great. Or they haven't been practicing it. It snuck through the vetoes somehow. They didn't expect to end up on the map, and it's going to come crashing down, I guess. Only time will tell. Let's find out now as we head into the pistol round at CLG. On the T side, NIP starting things off over here on the CT side, and already Draken trying to spice things up down mid with that USP.
And that's very important for a player like him to start off with confidence. If you go up for the peak like that, start things off, just really feel that you can peak angles like that. That's so important for him. And the rest of the team right now setting up for an A play. CLG having control over the connector. And Res in position. Prime and ready, him and Draken holding short. And as per always, 3 players on that A bomb site. Ready to hold. CLG taking their time though. 2 flashes left on Ethan. Just holding the positions. FNS making his way surely up towards the long. And they're waiting on the timing here. The question is what exact timing it is, because there's 52 seconds remaining.
And now we're going to see those players slowly but surely walk out of connector, start to rush up through toilets. It's Draken to bite the dust early on. Get right, going to claim one back in return. Rez still undetected within the site, able to try and snuff this push out, but he's going to be completely surrounded. Firing left and right, just dodging it around the boxes. Happy Feet somehow still alive and kicking. They pulled this one into their advantage, and Rez within the site gets himself one. Forest taps away on the flank, and that'll be NIP to pick up the pistol.
I'm very happy that the camera stayed on Rez for that amount of time, because him staying alive pretty much won them the round. Big mistake of CLG not able to shut him down on the side. They had a bunch of chances, did not hit the shots. He was allowed, as you said, Happy Feet around the side. First of all, Get Right peak in that position allows kind of like for him to survive on the side. Get Right coming in with the nice frags, but just that amount of time staying alive on the bomb side allows Forest to come in for the flank in that 2v1 situation, and it works out in the end. CLG going for the buy here. We have a Galil on Ricky. I'm very interested. Seeing where that's going to be put to use. Right now he's behind everyone. He's making sure that no CTs are pushing, just taking map control slowly and surely. That's how they impressed me at DreamHack Summer when they did really well there. They're just conservative team, very good at methodically pushing sites and winning duels and taking 2-for-1 duels all the time, isolating enemy players. And that's what they're doing right now. Slowly but surely. That's the key word.
They've gone and pushed all the way up through middle. Now in toilets. That smoke from Draken aimed to try and hold them back. He spots out one, and now the Molotovs rain in as a result. Gonna buy that much more time for NIP. You can already see they rotated Forest on up. The push about to come out from CLG. That one solitary flashbang gonna signal the approach of the Americans as they go charging on in. Rez still fighting from the same position we saw last time, but a player's been allowed to sneak on by. And now Get Right. The man within the site gonna go charging on through, tries to snuff this out, does find one, but he's still got more work left to do. Make that a second as Exist helps out. It all gets left onto Cutler. 1v2 over towards Long. There's a player on the side of the nade. He doesn't quite spot him, does find damage with the Deegan, actually finishes him off. It all falls on a Get Right who sticks the defuse, balls of steel, and then punishes Cutler over at Long. NIP in with that second round. Fairly heavy investment from CLG.
Yeah, almost making that one out. I think if Cutler's timing onto the bomb side had been 1 or 2 seconds earlier, they could have actually taken control early and not allowing Forest and Rest to take those opening 2 frags if they time it correctly. But that's so hard to time because you have to constantly think about not only just the timing, you also have to think about if you spot a CT and he spots you, you have to make a decision and the whole team, you have to react on that. 1 or 2 seconds on that timing from Cutler and the round could have maybe been different. That's not the case though. Pistols coming in from CLG, aggressive peeking from Draken. Picks up the first one, rotates back. Second one surely goes into his favor, but no! Molotov comes in to help him out. Nice teamwork there. Rest takes over.
Yeah, they do manage to dispatch the Forest over a mid, but they shouldn't be allowed to find too much more success. Rez, okay, does manage to get out of there, doesn't take too much damage. Only issue is Draken didn't bother falling back, and he's prone to, okay, I was going to say going down, but as he just decapitates one of these guys over at Long, it is going to be still him who's holding it strong. Get Right's rotated in, wants a piece of the pie for himself. Spots the first and the second, down they go. Kustra and Ethan don't get any work done, and that will be the third for NIP. CLG now with enough money to buy down. This is where the going gets serious.
Kustra going AWP without utility. It's going to be interesting taking a look at how they're going to be executing onto these bomb sites. Missing that one smoke from Kustra. And only one Molotov on Ethan as well, so definitely an interesting take coming in here from CLG. Kustra just holding the defensive angle to begin with Draken. Push down for information towards Connector. Doesn't get it. Ethan on the other way around. Takes down Forest, and this is the second time in a row where Forest has pushed aggressively and been taken out instantly by CLG. So they're very good at countering his aggression early on in the round, getting that 5v4 situation. Ethan on 6 HP though.
Yeah, he's doing damage. I'm gonna go and find the first. More players come flooding into the site, but he's bought plenty of time, and actually all that and more as he now gets his second. Smoke's gonna come in, but it doesn't matter because Exist sees all. It all falls onto Cutler, and Get Right finishes off both FNS and his teammate. That is gonna be NIP. In with their fourth, CLG. They've got no money once again, returning to the realms of poverty.
Yeah, I just got that 2012, 2013, nostalgia to throw back there. Exist and Get Right just holding aside and demolishing everyone who tries to come in. And that's how NIP started dominating in the beginning of CSGO, and that's what they need to come back into this game, to come back to the level that we all know they can bring. Right now, only pistols for CLG. Should be a cakewalk for NIP. But of course, we do know that Deagles can upset some. We see P250s do as well, so NIP still have to be careful here. There we go.
Yeah, they're going to go ahead and get the trade over at Long. This is also a bad round to have that double AWP in play. If you're, if there's the time that you're most vulnerable to these pistols, it's going to be when you have that double AWP set up. So perhaps a bit of a misread on the economy of CLG as they decided to invest into that for this round. Forest, the player with that extra AWP, turning his attention over here towards Long. Players on the other side aren't too keen to go creeping on out, but as you say it, jumping on by, I think that's Kustra. That's Cutler, sorry, going to fall at the hands of Forest. And now...
yeah, no flashes, no smokes.
Nope. Forest just chipping these guys away. It was not meant to be. Get Right within the site to finish off the last two, and That is going to be a 5th on the board for NIP. Only losing 1 player in that round, going to be fantastic for the economy of the Swedes.
Double orb T-side coming up here. It's going to be very interesting because that's one of the things that I think CLG has the potential of doing, with both Ricky and Kusta being very talented. And here we go. We do see the double orb coming out on the T-side. Very, very interesting approach into the game, because usually, unless you have like Fallen and Cold Sierra, you don't want to play a double orb T-side. But CLG does it, and they've been very good at it. Very good of incorporating that kind of aggressive AWP sniper play into the game. Right now, interesting boost, but not really anything coming out. Draken taking out Ricky, instantly winning that duel. And that was one of the things that I would like to praise them from watching them before, is that they don't take initial duels with those orbs. They kind of work them into the executes. But this time around, Ricky just loses out a duel straight up to Draken, which is not usually how they play this double up setup on T-side.
Yeah, now Forest holding mid. Oh, he spotted him. Does get caught switching weapons, so it's going to fall onto Rez. You can see the Forest rotates in. They have this crossfire set up. The ability to trade is there. The CLG, they have slowed right down. The Molotovs, the smoke's perfect to hold them back. They're lucky. The spread doesn't actually do any damage. They're allowed to survive in the corner. And Forest comes in with the AWP, misses the first shot. Now they know he's here. A little bit reluctant to try and make their way through toilets. The AWP is a devastating beast to try and contend with, so they're going to turn their attention instead out here towards long. There is still a man, though, to try and keep them at bay, and that is Get Right, who going to counteract the smoke of CLG with a smoke of his own. What happens when you fight fire with fire, but what about smoke with smoke? As now Forest, the man to try and hold down toilets. Turns his attention out into middle. Has Rez here to back him up, if you remember crossfire from earlier. Finds damage in through the wall bang. They nearly line up for him, but FNS does get the first. Rez trying to step up to trade things out. Doesn't manage to do so. Get Right going to fall within the site, and now it's Exist and Draken. 2v3, but Draken, with a shot of a lifetime, pulls this one back. Exist on the flank, and NIP in with a 6th round in a row.
Just when you thought CLG had a chance, they took the bomb side. Draken comes in with a huge AWP shot. Exist with the angle from the back, from the flank coming in there. And it was so nice to see on the minimap as well, like how Exist reacted, because the second he knew exactly what was going on, he just ran out. He knew there was no one in his area. He just timed that perfectly, get into the bomb plant, or just kill the bomb planter straight after the bomb was planted. And it was an open shot, and he got both kills there. So very nice coming out of NIP. The timings were on point. And now they're up 6-0. CLG forced into taking a tactical pause. And this is what becomes interesting, because a lot of the talk about CLG has been the loss of their coach, Amape, who's now moved on to Optic Gaming. The new coach, now in position. What does he have to say? How can he help these guys? Because as we see on the money on the top of the stage here, DreamHack, it's not looking too good. And they're actually going to go ahead and invest into Tech 9s for this round. You cannot see it, but we can, of course. So Tech 9 armor is going to be the play here for CLG, and then they're going to buy in the next one, if I'm not mistaken. And it's going to be the case. So CLG probably going for a quick play here, and then the next one. That's going to maybe be another bust-out double AWP round, but they haven't done as well as I would have predicted yet.
No, it does seem like they have to try and wake up. And that little period where we could allow for some mistakes is very quickly fleeting. This time Rez, he's taking the aggression out mid, and he's going to get one, tries to get more. There's actually Draken there to go ahead and get that. Cutler able to go ahead and find the equalizer, and now we are back into the 4-on-4.
And that is so nice. After your opponent are taking like a tactical pause to make sure that they have everything on the lockdown, you just go instantly peek out aggressively 2 players to kind of change the whole pace, change the whole momentum of the game, and bring it back into your favor, and it works. 1-for-1 trade still, but the confidence that NIP are gaining from this is immense.
Over here at long. I was going to go ahead and throw out that one smoke, but Draken's gone straight by it. He now has vision at long. Cutler goes down. Goodbye. It's pigeon shooting right there down at long as he just spots him over the top of flower beds. Draken turns his attention now into middle. 2 players here with 1 rotated round to go ahead and grab the M4. Over at long, but I don't fancy his odds as Draken makes it look easy. Does get finished off by Kusta. Get right within the site and has to try and disallow this, which he won't. They actually managed to pull this back. Now they've juggled the M4 back and forth. They're finding a lot of damage, but luckily enough Exist trying to save us from the madness. It all falls onto Ethan in the 1v2. The Molotov, no! How? He's still alive. Burrows on through it. Immune to fire. Keeps fighting somehow. Keeps the dreams of CLG alive, but time is ticking away. Both players rotated up from B. They've got so much utility to use, but he's trying to spot the head of Exist. if he finds this is more than possible. He can even still get that bomb and go for the plant they don't have, and he needs to disallow it. So he will get the bomb down. They're going to look to try rush on in. They've let him get away with it. Forrest is tapped down low, but he's watching the angle and will be quick to snuff him out. Defuse going to come in. NIP with a 7th. CLG still without a single round on their T side.
Once again, a sick round from Draken. He's not on top of the scoreboard right now. He's only sitting on 7 frags, but the confidence he's showing right now and the confidence he's gaining from going aggressive with the AWP, getting that first kind of peak. We see it here, just over the top of the smoke. Peak in the jump as well, and then being forced away with the Molotov, but still going for the peak in the Molotov. Like, that's just really nice play coming out of Draken, and that's exactly what they need. They need their top players to be on point, and as we talk about that, get right.
Look at Ricky.
Yeah,
he's
James Bond from Australia.
007. Here we go. Forrest hold in mid. The late peak comes out. Both players miss one another. Draken's over at long, but they've got the boost employed to deal with this. This is one that usually catches the lone player at long off guard, but he's playing the angle perfectly. Doesn't allow the vision of the boost to come on in. They don't think anyone's gone aggressive, and this kind of leads to a false sense of information, especially as he takes the peak now. This could be the opener found already. Down goes Kusta. No trade potential for that. They get caught out of position. The pop flash just cements that fact that much more, and Draken, as you said, confident as ever, just allowed to leave long and keep that man advantage for NIP.
Cutler making his way in, but Forrest is ready and waiting with the AWP, edging himself forward and gets that shot. Cutler's just waiting too long, and now Ethan don't want to step out into that and makes the right decision in my mind, but Exist once again ready to punish them on the opposite side. Now the execute has to come in, but there's no real execute left, as it's just Ethan 4 1v2 on that bomb site. And it just is not working out right now for CLG. I'm not exactly sure what I would change if I were in their position, but it's hard to put a finger on. It's just nothing is working for them right now. They can't even win duels, and when you look at their lineup, like Ricky and Kusta with the AWP should be able to sometimes at least win duels. FNS not a bad player either, despite he's the in-game leader. Ethan also one of these young NA players coming up, but they're just not winning anything. NIP are just schooling them on how to play this game right now.
CLG have turned their attention over here to the B-bomb site. Okay, Forrest tries to go for the wall bang there. Nearly. Everyone from CLG stacked up down here at the B-bomb site, but already a perfect player in position to try and pick this off. It's going to be Rez. He's the one in connector. He can do so much damage. The rotate coming in quickly. I mean, and the reason why he's there, by the way, is because look at this aggression from Draken. He's got an AWP. You're not meant to be here with an AWP, Draken. He snuck all the way in from behind. They are completely unaware. It's not the best gun for the job, but he spots them going in. Going to try and wait for the lineup. How do you miss that? There we go. Does find it on the second time round. Tries to get more work done. And now CLG are trapped inside of B. Players already rotating around, but Exist and Rez both get executed. The bomb hasn't gone down just yet, but they should be able to get that planted. They have to be wary. Draken is on the flank, but he's been slowed right down. We're losing everyone in the site. Going to remove a lot of the pressure that he represents. Misses the shot over towards short. Tries to get the hell out of there as he finds himself fighting to stay alive. Bomb plant comes in. Now NIP are on the clock. Forrest has a player going aggressive up behind him. He does get dropped out. Get right, going to fall as well. It's all on Draken.
He should save now.
Well, saying that, he's going to go ahead and get one.
There's no way he should be able to win this.
Both players over at short. He's got the Incendiary. He forces one of them back. He has to first try and contend with Ethan, and Ethan will win that out. As you said, perhaps a round that he should have tried to save in. CLG get there first.
Luckily for him, economy-wise, it's actually okay to go for that peak there. Even though it's a 1v3, usually with an AWP or 1v3 post plan, you don't want to go for the retake. There's just no chance of you winning that. Even if you have the smoke, you have utility. But luckily for NIP, it's okay. They can afford to do the full rebuy. They still get the double AWP, so it's not like he's throwing anything away by going for that one. They would still have been on a buy on this one anyway, so he, I'm gonna remove that big old cross in my checkbook there. It's all right.
How generous are you? Papa Risk says it's okay.
I don't actually think he cares at all.
Oh,
that's
here
a
it
nice
is.
Shot.
Forrest trying to show that he can AWP as well. Picks himself up. One FNS gonna fall down to Rez. Ethan doing his best to pull this one back to the realms of possibility, but now it's all on Kusta and Ethan. They have got the AWP. They're over here towards long at B. But there's 4 players for NIP within this site, or nearby at least. Doesn't inspire too much confidence. Draken going to be the one to rotate off, but you've still got to worry because Rez is here. Over at short, he might be alone. If Kusta can pick this up, which he can, now we're into the 2-on-3. Suddenly, a dangerous round presents itself for the Swedes. They had that 2-man advantage now. They've only got 1. CLG have 40 seconds left, 45 seconds left to play with. Not short on time. Plenty of utility still.
Only 1 smoke on the CT side, no Molotovs. And it's on Draken, all of it. So no utility on Get Right, no utility on Exist. That's why he's peeking in such an aggressive manner. He knows that he has to get information in order to shut this down. He does get the information, he does get the frag. And now it's all on Kusta.
Yeah, bomb dropped over on short, gonna make this near on impossible. Starts to round the corner, Get Right's watching it. And will drop him out. No issues there for NIP.
And this is the problem, both economy and confidence-wise, coming in for CLG here, because first of all, they won that 1 round. They get immediately reset. They don't get any loss bonus. That means that FNS has no money. Cutler has enough to buy. The rest of the team could technically force around it, but they're not going to do it this time around. That's why Cutler is, of course, buying the Tech 9 armor, because he had some money to spare. Confidence-wise, it hurts so bad being able to think, okay, we're back in the game. We got a round. And they just get immediately smacked in the face. Metaphorically, of course. And Draken once again here, just peeking aggressively. He is destroying CLG right now. Same as Exist, same as Forest, being picked apart.
Oh, Forest? No, it's going to go down. FNS able to find him. Ethan, in the meantime, has been tagged out at 12 HP. He's not looking very healthy. He's bleeding everywhere. Just disgusting. And now FNS, he's alone within this. Ethan spots out Draken. They don't manage to deal with him, so it is still the 2-on-4. They're looking to try and do damage at this point. That's really all they can hope to do. NIP just have this thing about walls and them not existing.
Yeah, but, I don't know what it is.
Here we go.
They're taking advice from Wallen of SK Gaming, my favorite player.
Draken gonna miss that shot. This is where things get a little bit scary. He's pushed up very aggressively with the AWP. He can definitely handle himself. It's just up against the wrath of a Tech 9. If he misses the shot the second time round, which is not something he's used to doing, and continues that trend, doesn't matter. He does drop out the lone FNS. Ethan spotted over at long. Yeah, this round is done for. With only 30 seconds left, he's gonna go charging in. Throws the bomb in the face.
Casual fake flash with the bomb.
It's a bit bulky. But there he is, the man of the hour, my man of the hour. Exist.
He's doing actually quite fine. 11-5 on the scoreboard. Usually we don't see the in-game leaders on the top of that scoreboard, but he's doing very good right now. This is the round, though, for CLG. They spent their money, they invested, and now it's time to capitalize, to get something out of that investment, to make a profit.
Looks like the order of the day is going to be to try this B bomb site. Now, they've had success into B. Now they're looking to try and make that a reality. Stacked up. Smokes and flashes rain in. The push comes through. Exist over on barrels. Doesn't get anything done. It all falls on to Get Right up on short. But with everyone coming in from Monster, they don't check the angle. They go walking on into his Mortars. He gets himself one. Finds a load of damage, but will be finished off. As now it's Rez and Forest. Try and pull this one back. Rez has already got one in the retake. Still has more left to find. And Forest is very isolated from this. Coming in on the flank. Has the AWP, he has to be cautious. There's a player there to watch it, so he's going to reroute round to short. They spot Rez out over in Graffiti. And now they look to try and clutch in. Forest going to fall to Cutler, leaving this in the hands of Rez. He does take the first, but he's been tagged down so low in the process. Has to try and contend with FNS, which he does. Baits out the defuse. It's going to cause Cutler to peek from short. Rez takes the peek, spots him out, lands the headshot. But Cutler does finish him off, and that is going to be CLG in with their second.
When you get to a point, Harry, when no strats are working, losing round after round, there's only one strat that can save you, and that is the old Rush B.
Rush B. You should be like a motivational speaker.
I don't think I would motivate a lot of people, but
maybe like what's it called? The guys who read books, audio books.
I can be Stephen Fry.
I don't want to hear it. I'm gonna be honest, but here we go. Draken. The aggression doesn't pan out this time. He's tagged to 50 HP. CLG looking to try and continue this trend and get themselves maybe a third round on their T side.
Get right in the boys. Choosing to go, well, not really choosing, they're pretty much being forced into it by the way that CT economy works. it's very hard to keep that momentum going, even though they're 10-2. They're spending all of their money, so they had the choice to go UMP and utility, or just M4 nothing, or for Forest's sake, just pistols or utility. Let's see if they can work it out. CLG on the other side, also missing a bit of utility, and Rest once again here on long and just taking the opening frag. Draken ready to back him up if needed be. Map control on shore and toilets have been given over to the terrace. The bomb is rotating, but nonetheless, like, they got 2 frags already. There's still a little bit of utility remaining, and Rest is just shutting it down. It's so hard for CLG to come back in these rounds because they just keep running into the crosshairs of NIP and losing the duels, the 1v1 duels, over and over again. And it's, yeah. If it's frustrating for me, it must be frustrating for any of the CLG fans out there.
But quiet. Cutler's trying to clutch. Oh, okay, get the first. But that is it. He'll be shut down by Forest. Not meant to be. That's NIP in with their 11th. CLG trailing behind on a measly 2 rounds. Issue being, if you don't get above 3, you run the risk of the pissed around just solely deciding whether or not you get even a buy-in to map point.
Now into a round like this where it's basically going to be a full eco the round after. Kusta's saving a bit of money because he intends to go for the orb in the next buy round. But if they lose this, which they're probably going to do thanks to the pistols of CS, it's so hard for them because then they pretty much have to bank on winning that next buy round. If they don't win that, they're going to lose the half completely. FNS coming in though, P250 at work.
Yeah, charging into the B-bomb, so they've been kept at bay with utility. It exists, he can't see anything. Gets himself a second, trying to do more work. He's fully flashed, but he's still firing on all cylinders. Kusta, the last man standing with the UM. Oh, up res. Just gonna go ahead and shank him.
The
point blank.
Disrespect knife.
It always goes to exist. This cameraman just knows I love to see him.
Kusta, a man that usually is impressive, gets a frag here and gets knifed. Not very impressive. But he is sitting at 12-14. He's the one trying his best for this team to pull them up. Right now, to be honest, I don't like picking out players and saying it's their fault that, like, a team is losing a game because it usually isn't. And it isn't in this time either. But Ricky is one of the players that I think individually is the best on CLG. And he's sitting at 2-14. And that's not something he usually does. Usually, especially in Overpass, with that orb, he's wreaking havoc. But that's just not the case right now.
And this force from CLG is dismal, to say the least. Get Right is already in a prime position to pick the man advantage up early on. Ethan's there on the other side of the smoke. It will dissipate. But Get Right isn't up to the task of following that one up. Exist is watching the angle at long. There's 3 players here, ready and waiting to walk into his clutches. Spots out the first. This is where the peak's going to come in from Kusta, but Get Right was positioned to try and dispatch of him, which he will. The trade comes in swiftly.
Perfect flash, but they're not going to go on it.
Gonna line up another. Now the push comes in. Ethan gonna try and shut this down on the flank. They're putting in some serious work. Draken, okay, Ethan makes this one possible. It all falls onto Draken within the site. Looking to try and tango with the P250s. Bomb plant has to come on in. Draken peeking up with the orb, gets the first, drops the bomb, still has more work left to do. Gonna go in for the next, but he will be shut down. Ethan, our savior, returns us from the madness that was that round. Draken almost clutches it. And that was a hell of a lot closer than that round needed to be right there. My heart is racing.
You could just see it on Draken's face there. Like, he even waited for the exhale just to grasp the situation, just to like think about what just happened.
Look at Ethan. Cheeky. It's not as stylish if you do it with it.
That's stylish.
No, okay, it was.
That is extra stylish.
It was sleek. It was nice. And that was the shutdown of Ethan to finish things off on a Draken. So he's clearly feeling it. Yep. Rest of the team, almost like they have cold feet.
Yeah, it's not looking good for CLG, but then again, we should never write them off. We all know they're a team that can come back. They have the individual qualities. I think if Ricky can kind of pull himself up in the booster apps there and just get back into the server, I think they have a real chance, but it's hard with the 12-3 score.
Can I just say as well, I don't know about you, Risk, but I'm a huge fan of seeing Nip in good form again. It was almost sad, right, when we saw them, falling behind, not doing too great. And it's just like, it's like when you see a dog that, was really like sweet and energetic, and then they start to get older. And it's just like, oh, he was so playful once. And they're still sweet, you still love them to bits. But he's just not quite as young and sprightly as he used to be. Well, they've got a second win now, NIP. They've got 12 rounds here in the first half, looking to try and maintain that lead as we head into the second. Cutler's going to go aggressive in mid, but he will be held back. Doesn't find anything as NIP diverge instead in through connector.
Standard setup from NIP. 4 players with armor. Exist with a smoke and a flashbang. That's how it's supposed to be pronounced. And setting up for what right now looks like a split A. Smoke probably either for bank or stairs, and the flashbang to come in when the take comes in as well. So the execute timing is going to be on point here. Exist lining it up right now, and we can expect this to come in any second now.
Here's Cutler. The man's trying to keep the Swedes at bay. They're going to go charging in, and CLG just completely fall off the site. They give it up entirely for free. Going to try and play 5v5 in the retake. Draken takes the aggressive angle. And they're just going to keep taking the aggression. They haven't even got the bomb down yet. They've just been faking it a couple of times. P comes out from Geralt. You've got to admire the idea behind it.
There's so much confidence in NIP right now.
Oh, but maybe they're going to get punished for that. Confidence could come back to punish them. They lose Forest in that engagement. Rez trying to trade things out, going to fall to Ethan. It is all on Exist. 2 goes down. The retake is perfect from CLG. And maybe that was NIP getting a little bit too big for their boots there in that round.
Yeah, because you saw them constantly facing towards bank. You saw one of the players having to watch 2 angles. And in a situation like that, if you have the confidence, you're constantly going for the frag, thinking, hey, I can make this work. And that's where some of the calmer teammates, which in NIP's position should be Exist, coming in to kind of calm the team down. You should not be peeking those duels. Get right, of course, going for the style points over the wall. That's actually fine as long as he rotates back into the side when the CT's retake. But yeah, a couple of mistakes made by NIP, and that could be the opening that CLG needs, because they need every single bit of help they can get right now. And now they've been handed a tiny, tiny bit. Now they need to build on it.
The interesting thing here from NIP is they want to try and not only keep the economy of CLG low, but they want to keep that momentum up. So they've forced Sport into this round to try and do what they can. One of the players with a UMP spots out the players over in connector, only gets the information that Cutler's here, and we know, of course, that there are 2 with Kusta waiting on the outside as well. So 3 players by connector. They do find the first, but are they ready for Cutler to peek on out? He's quickly stuck between a rock and a hard place. Manages to get 1, make that, no, just 1 Exist. Gonna shut him down. It's Ricky and Ethan. 2v4.
Ricky's position here. This is a gamble.
Oh, he's gonna go and get the first. He's got to get more, but that's the start they needed. He's already put a stop to this site take. Bought time for the rotate to come in from Ethan. NIP aren't too pressed for time. Ricky just waiting up here over my truck. Has allowed for the rotate of his team up towards Heaven. Forrest going to finish him off, leaving their now all on Ethan.
1v3. He's not going to amount to anything. Forrest shuts it down. They buy him the AK, he gets the 3K. That's the Forrest guarantee. So there we go. 13-4, Harry. NIP, loads of cash. CLG, pistols and a UMP.
Can I go ahead and see the force come in from CLG? They have to try and steal this back. Ricky's already been tagged relatively low in mid from those nades, but he's still looking all right. A little bit mangled. Other than that, he's all good. We'll be falling back, looking to try and rejoin the relative safety of his teammates. Forrest, the one to try and open this up. Here's the player rotating around. Molotov gonna make things hot for FNS, but how is this man still alive? He just doesn't burn. He's all good, he's fine, and Forrest doesn't expect it as a result. What was that? What are you wearing, FNS, to make you just invulnerable to flames?
That is factor 1000 sunscreen.
I mean, the
I don't know, man. That seems so weird.
And now, the apparent demon that lives in the fire and flames down in Connect, they're gonna be able to finish off Get Right as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and watch that demo tonight. See how on earth that happened.
I mean, like, what? It's like the inverse of a 1G. It's like a G1.
So here we go, take coming in. Execute from NIP. Quickly extinguished. Side will be allowed, but one player pushing behind them. They're pretty much fighting war at all angles right now, the NIP guys. Just trying to find one frag, and then they can at least work something out. But It's just not being allowed right now. Really nice play from CLG, just holding them back, allowing FNS to come in from behind. And to be honest, that has to be the one factor that determines this round. FNS in that round survives the fire and the flames, sees that 75 kills, goes back up, gets another one, rotates back to the side, comes in with the flank. 3K for him. Very nice play. And here's the replay. Okay. Ignores it. You know, if you don't think about it, Harry, it can't hurt you.
Well, I mean, it's like a T-Rex, right? If you don't move, it doesn't see you. And that's where people go wrong. Whenever the Molotov lands near them, they start freaking the hell out. And FNS, he remains composed. But yeah, so here we go. Rez has been a loud controller connector for NIP. He's going to get this entirely for free, which is a bargain. Now turns his attention out towards the middle. CLG playing this a little bit more passively this time. Cutler still watching from afar, but as they duck past, his crosshair does now fall on back into the relative safety of the A-bomb site. He has Kusta here to help out. The fast rotates coming from Ethan as well. But NIP, they're already pushed relatively far up towards the A-bomb site. I think we're just going to see them go straight in for this one.
See pistols. 2 rifles and a UMP from NIP only be enough to topple. The stronger buy from the CT's time taken away. Surely now is the time.
No, not if Kusta and Cutler can say anything about it. Between them, they're going to do some serious work, but suddenly Exist and Draken pull this one back around for the Swedes, and we're into a 2-on-2. FNS and Ricky, this time there's no flames for them to dance in as they make their way up from the B-bomb site and the rotate. Exist to try and spot the head, which he will. He knows that they're there. FNS dispatches of the aggressive Draken. Now leaving this on Exist. He finds the first, ducks on down, bomb still ticking away, and FNS has to quickly try and worm him out on the site. Exist playing it around the boxes, spots him out, takes the peek, does the damage, but it's FNS to pick it up. Duel goes the way of CLG, Defuse comes in, and that is now a 6th.
Really like that from CLG spending. They had a nade and a Molotov as well to kind of like flush the terrorists out of their bomb side positions, the post-plant positions. They could have used the flashbang as well to kind of retake, but they decided to just go for the information and map control play, and it works out fine in the end. But I love the fact that they just take some time to spend some of the utility they have. A lot of other players would not even think about utility in that form, because in 2v2 the bomb is taken away. You don't have that kind of like headroom. You don't have that clear mind to constantly think about getting yourself the advantage. That a nade and a Molotov can give you, and we saw that. They came in, got the first rack on back of that utility usage, and then of course the clutch being won in the end by CLG. They're now on 6 rounds. They're still behind, but they're slowly coming back into the game, and now they've forced NIP's economy into a place where it's 2 pistols and only 1 real weapon, and that's on Exist. The rest, scouts, UMPs, but some utility behind it, so an execute can still happen here.
I normally don't like his position from Cutler. Really, you only ever get 1. You need to rely on Kusta to help him out, but saying that, no, he's going to get 2, maybe even 3. No, okay. Rez does trade that one out at least. Finally, someone puts a stop to just the insanity that was that holdover at Long. Kusta gonna now play this in cubby. NIP have just completely deterred of the idea of taking this A-bomb site. They have to be careful as well, because the rotates already come in from CLG. The push through the smoke is perfect, and that's Rez to go down.
He was not in anti-flash position, and when the flash comes through the smoke like that, that's where you have a good teammate use his utility to give you a better position, and it works out for CLG. 2v4, and not a big chance unless the oldest duo of CSGO pulls something out. Forest with the first one. Can they do it? The dynamic duo from Sweden.
No. They are going to go down there. CLG in with a 7th. I really admired the optimism. That was nice. I was hoping we could have seen something spectacular. I mean, this has kind of been vintage NIP.
Oh, yeah.
I hope now in new NIP fashion they aren't starting to just throw this one away. Could be the case, as it's been a while since we saw them pick up too much success. They have lost the last 3 rounds consecutively. They finally, though, admitted defeat. We see them take the eco, and we've just seen them force relentlessly up until now. So it is nice to see.
And with the way the CSGO logic works these days, then NIP are going to win this round. Let's see if they can make something happen. But talking about that duo, like Get Ryan Forest, They've been playing together for such a long time. I think they're united first time in Fnatic back in the 1.6 days. Then they moved to SK for that team there. Still were together in NIP for the entirety of the lineup. And as we say, like, pistols in this game are just ridiculous. Res takes out Kusta. As I said, like, CSGO logic tells us that this is going to be the round of NIP.
Forest still taking the aggressive peek. Just going to be holding the angle. Actually spots out one of the players over by Bank. Has an idea that Ethan's there, but he first wants to try and dispatch of Cutler. Making his way around. Playing this very, very passively as everyone from NIP, they're poised and ready to go in. CLG have no info on this. They're lining up this utility to try and keep the Swedes at bay. Now they peek out. Cutler and Ethan between them just cutting down NIP as it all falls onto Get Right. All the way over in B, he dies alone and afraid. It is going to be another for CLG as they pick up an 8th. But finally, we're going to see NIP with a full buy.
Thank God. No insanity that round. CLG picks it up. Now we see the buy coming in. Draken being allowed on that AWP for NIP. 4 players with full setup. 4 Molotovs as well. I'm very curious to see how they're going to use it. Forrest even going for Molotov nade, flash, and then smoke instead of 2 flashbangs. And no nade. Interesting setup. Want to do a lot of damage with his utility. Right now, in connector, Cutler going to hold that position as well. And we're at a point now where this round is going to change a lot of how the game goes on from now. We're on round 22. Both teams have bought up. The money's looking tight for NIP if they lose this, despite they have a loss bonus. They're still going to be able to buy up, but they're going to be missing key parts of utility if they do. On the other hand, CLG have 2 players who's going to be having a tough time buying in this round or in the next round if they lose it. That means that they're going to have to be dropping weapons to try and counter that imbalance in the economy. So a round win here can change the rest of this map for either team.
And NIP gotta be making their way up long. Forest, the first point of contact in connector, does hit the deck. And now it's just what NIP are gonna do. They've lost the any nuance of advantage. It's gonna be handed over to CLG. They turn their attention instead out here towards the A-bomb site. They're ready to go in, with the exception of Get Right, who is away from the team now, looking to try and catch up. Smoke goes down and delay them for the time being. 2 players still within the site. And you have to worry, FNS, he's still waiting. Connector can try and come in on the fast flank from behind. Just going to be holding the angle. Now the push about to come through. They have to check this for Kusta. And they don't. They both go walking out into the slaughterhouse. He gets himself 2. Get Right's there to trade things back, but now it's just Draken and Get Right. 2 versus 4. First have to try and contend with the lone player within the site. Draken does damage as well. Got to try and pick this up. FNS just running for the hills. He gets away with plenty of time left. He's still going. Finally.
Why is he peeking though? Like, why is he not just running away? But
FNS just constantly dances with death for the sake of it. You know, he stood in a Molotov. He's just bunny hopped around to try and survive against Draken. Didn't work that time.
Yeah.
But there, I mean, this round was lost the second they didn't check this corner.
Yeah, I don't know if they counted on the flashing a guy in the corner, because the first guy checked right, because usually you want to come in and check left as the first thing. But I think they had something else in mind. I'm pretty sure they knew that he could be in that position. They just gambled on something else, which is, of course, in this situation, not the best idea. But it's always so much easier to say, like, when we have the X-ray and everything, we can see everything from all perspectives. As a player, you constantly have to think about everything. Every scenario is possible. And sometimes you have to gamble. Sometimes if you gamble, you lose. Actually, most of the time when you gamble, you lose.
There you go. Solid advice there.
Don't gamble.
Life advice, also quality CS. As now, Get Right's been allowed to push up very close here. Kusta's got to go close range with the AWP, and he doesn't survive the first engagement. Ethan not in the site to support him. Does just hand this over to NIP. The bomb plant going to be coming in for the Swedes any second now. And that's going to leave CLG 3v4 in this retake. They've managed to wallbang Get Right. So they eliminate one of the Swedes, but they've still got some serious work left to do. The bomb going to be ticking away now. Curious to see if they do decide to go for this one. They're waiting to see if an opportunity presents itself, but it's FNS reluctant to move Out of connector. Okay, gets himself one. He hears the other player pushing up in toilets. Just going to go ahead and head straight on past him. There is going to be someone there to dispatch of him, but FNS holds the angle. Rez still picks the frag up within this site. It's gone down to a 2-on-2. Diffusing within the smoke. It's Ethan and Forrest. Not a fan of that plan. Shuts down the man. It is going to be NIP with a 14th on the board. One away from a match point.
And the economy right now of CLG, despite them winning a bunch of rounds here in a row, or at least out of this last half here, they're still forced into a position where they can't afford exactly the buy they want. They have one player on a UMP, one player that's FNS, on a FAMAS without any utility. And here comes a fast-paced push from NIP. Are they prepared for this?
It's something we haven't seen yet. Just charging in with AKs, not Tech 9s. Everything behind him. They've been able to get one. Ethan, sorry. Ricky fighting for his life, but yeah, right, we'll snuff him out. It's going to be a 2-on-2 in this retake. Both players from CLG over here at short. Draken get a Molotov that off. They've got a couple of flashbangs left. CLG have almost they have a full belt up on Kusta. Cutler has himself a flash and a nade. The Molotov to force the players off the site, deny that close angle. Gonna try coming in from long. It's Get Right holding at barrels. It's gonna be their primary concern. He's the one that can wreak so much havoc. Takes the peek out, keeps Cutler at bay. This is where Kusta is to help out, but it's all Cutler. Putting us into the 1v2. Bomb gonna be planted for Draken. Smoke's gone down. Not the ideal angle to try and deny the defuse from. Okay, Draken gets one. Now they know where he is. Kusta's got a kip. That smoke's been down for a while. Going to start to dissipate. Draken missing the shots. The defuse coming in. He's going to go ahead and get it. CLG in with a 10th. They finish off Draken as well.
Oh, that's so unlucky, because in that position, when you rotate far up to heaven, you have to be 100% sure the exact position of the bomb, because you always know there's a possibility of the terrorists coming in with the smoke and putting it down. And it was very clear to see that Draken wasn't 100% sure where the bomb was. He actually thought it was a bit more to the right than it actually was, and that just kills around for them. I really like the idea, but if you want to do an execute like that or rotate like that, you have to be sure of the bomb position. Kusta with the tag. Second one not working out. Goes down to Get Right.
Cutler's been spotted out. Has to retreat into the A-bomb site. You can already see they've heavily rotated players off B, and that's largely due to Ricky's positioning, as he's already pushed up to short on that B-bomb site. NIP just going to go charging in, and oh no, FNS had to step up there. Does fall at the first hurdle. Ethan going to go down as well. It's Cutler within the site. Life expectancy, about 3 seconds, as now it falls onto Ricky. 1 versus 4 up from the B-bomb site. He was the player who was aggressive, now tasked with retaking A. Spots out the first man. With so much on his plate. Looks like he's going to play things safe and look to try and save in this round. Clears out any potential of a flank, and now just going to look to try and hide. Draken pushing around, only 12 HP. Wants to go hunting.
Let's see if Ricky can at least get something done here. I have to say, though, he has been impressive in the second half compared to the first one, where he did not look good up to his usual standard. Here in the second half, he has been getting frags. Currently sitting at 12. But I don't think he's going to get anything more in this round here. As NIP know that... Oh, still want to hold on to those weapons. Economy can still come and bite them in the behind if they lose this one. So they want to make sure that the economy still stays healthy. And, oh, there we go. A little bit of snooze. That's what you need when you're a Swedish player. Always coming in with the snooze. Can't survive without it. That's actually the secret behind all Scandinavian Counter-Strike magic. It's snooze. Did you know that?
It's a bold claim. Bold claim.
That's why Vendetta is so good.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, for NIP, let's see if that is the answer they needed to carry them through to the victory here. Only 1 round away versus a CLG with a broken buy. A couple of UMPs. M4 on Ricky. Oh, the 2 players with CZs. Literally 3 smokes and 3 flashes. It's going to be Kusta, the first man they look to try and make contact with, along with Cutler here in toilets. The aggression out from long means Cutler's looking completely the wrong way, caught unprepared.
Timing.
Kusta trying to trade this out. Does catch. Oh, going to run out of ammo. Forrest finishes him off. And now they've got this two-man advantage. The retake out towards A has to come through from CLG as this bomb plant is almost guaranteed for NIP at this point. They haven't even had to contest with Draken, who's waiting in the back line. He'll be able to shut down FNS every single time. This is something he physically can't miss. There we go. Down goes FNS. Ethan and Rick, all that remain, make that just Ricky 1v5. And he's got to be oh so fine if he wants to try and pull this one off. Peeks out, does get the first, but he's 7 HP. Get Right finishes him off, and that is NIP to win this one out. 16 to 10, fantastic stuff. A vintage Ninjas in Pyjamas display. A little bit scary towards the end, but they did look relatively composed throughout. And we're seeing them go from strength to strength. It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and to be honest, everything's working out for NIP. Get Right is back top fragging. Exist is doing very well as well. Draken winning all the important AWP duels and taking impact frags every single time around. Forrest had a bit of a quiet game, but when the rest of the team are playing as well as they are, it actually doesn't matter. And the frags he was having were also kind of impact frags. So NIP back at it again. The two favorites of the tournament have made it into the playoffs as they've won both of their winners games here today. And now NIP and Heroic.
It is,
right in there.
I mean, it's so exciting, in my opinion, to see NIP back in this form. I really hope it does continue throughout other stuff and that we don't just see this kind of be like a one-hit wonder, temporary, you know, kind of spree of them doing well and then just falling off. But yeah, that was a very, very good way to round out today, I feel. And that means we're going to see NIP head through to the semi-finals, which, of course, will be played in a day's time. So not tomorrow. Yeah. That's, of course, where we see who will be joining them. But, you know, what did you think of NIP?
To be honest, it's as you pretty much said it. Like, it's so nice to see them coming back to the game. As you said, they have a stronger map pool now. We've seen a couple of maps where they do good. We've seen a couple of maps where they have good defaults. They have good rotations on the CT side. They play the economy game really well, so we know that they have the mindset of Exist, as he has been always very conservative with the money throughout the history of the game. And everything just seems to be clicking for them. It seems to be that Ras and Draken has been the two pieces that have been missing in their puzzle for a long time. And now it seems like everything just fits together, comes 100%. Together.
But yeah, I mean, I've been more than impressed. I think Rez being brought in was fantastic. He was one of the players I really had pinned who could do good things within NIP, and I'm really excited that they did bring him in. And it just goes to show you, right, what a difference switching out one man can do for a team.
Talking about switching out one man, we're going to switch off and throw it over to Stunner on the stage.
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm standing here with Get Right. They just came out with a W over CLG. How does it feel, Get Right?
Great, since we just adding rest into the team and we have been setting our own goals, etc. like that, and things seems going pretty well for us at the moment, but I don't want to overstay anything or oversay anything because there's a learning period for us at the moment, so we take whatever we get.
But it does seem like the vibe within the team, everyone seems happy. You guys seem like you're having fun and enjoying yourselves in there. Would that be accurate to say?
It's kind of accurate. I mean, like for example, when we went into Cologne for ESL Cologne there, we didn't even know that our cash was that good that it was apparently were, and we want to try out a little bit more maps here and see how it goes with that. And I mean, things are going pretty well and people are happy, so I'm happy as well.
Hey, being happy is definitely part of the ball game here. Now, you guys will be moving on to the semis. Who do you look forward to playing there?
It doesn't really matter. You have to play anyone who's attending the tournament, and you have to beat everyone to win the tournament. So, I mean, it would be fun to play Envy, I guess, but I don't really want a specific opponent. I just want to play against everyone and beat everyone.
Yeah, Envious is definitely going to have to work their ass off to get there, that's for sure. Well, we're going to throw it down now to the desk so these guys can break it down one last time for today.
Thank you so much, Stunner. Great words there by Get Right. They're feeling positive. They've got all these young lads in there. They're just testing things out. It's a really cool thing to see NIP in this kind of reinvigorated mentality, right?
Yeah, I think we can add another map to the box, you know, or like to the little collection of maps that NIP can play. So we're starting to get a better feel of what their map pool actually looks like, which is fun to see because they played a really nice Overpass game, honestly. Their CT side very well varied in terms of, you know, switching up between aggression and actually passive plays, and just being very disruptive because we've seen CLG actually have success versus both defensive and aggressive setups. So the fact that NIP were actually able to stick it to them was very cool.
Yeah, and the two young guys, they both continue to impress.
They played one hell of a game, especially on the A side, CT side on Overpass. Draken and Rest were constantly aggressive. I felt like in the beginning of the round, aggressive, going up, getting the first kill, and then falling back and actually playing like not defensively, but like more. I'd say they play clever, you know. And sometimes the problem with some of the young Swedish guys and young Danish guys and young talents in general is that they tend to overextend when they get the first kill and they want to get the second, they want to get the third. You know how it is. But it seems like already now that they play disciplined, they play very well, play very clever, and they played like. I would almost say perfect on the CT side, and it was great to see. You mentioned it out as well, like Forest and Draken both picking up the orb, and they found that like sweet spot as you talked about, where Forest got an opening, then Draken got an opening, then back to Forest. It was like back and forth all the time. They complemented each other so well throughout the game.
So we have been. Oh, let's have a look at some of the stats first before we go on to the prediction scores.
Very even display on NIP,
Yeah.
you have to say. And again, yeah, a guy who oftentimes goes by unmentioned exists, obviously having a pretty good game for himself as well. So yeah, just all over very encouraging signs from the Ninjas, and yeah, it just kind of warms your CS heart really, because they've been around forever. They're supposed to be one of the very best teams in the world, and we've seen them struggle for so long. But it's definitely a step in the right direction. I like the mentality that they had going into it as well. Like, yeah, for Cologne, they weren't actually aware of the fact that Cash was so good for them. And here at Valencia, they want to try out as many maps as possible, see what they can actually get away with, what works, what doesn't. And I think that's the best way of going about it. I think you get a lot more out of tournament games compared to practice. Obviously, practice is still something you can't go on without, but you kind of do get the real test when you put a map out in a tournament setting.
Yeah, they must be so happy in that they are essentially experimenting with maps at this point, and they're still coming out on top.
Yeah.
The guys were saying on the commentary desk though that it's actually the snooze that makes them so successful. And just
yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah,
I can. Apparently, I didn't do enough, but
Yeah.
Well, maybe. Well, you know what? It might just be because I'm not a full-blown Swede, so I don't get the same kind of like super effect that it does for them.
The superpowers that Snooze brings. Yeah, no, I can't say I'm a big fan of it either. But it's not just inside Counter-Strike that it seems to help. It's also in the prediction game.
Yeah, no, it's.
Do you want to tell us the scores of the predictions?
I mean, outside of not wanting to just blow the whole surprise that KPI are going to win a major in 2018, you already took that for the team.
Yeah.
Went down in that game. Otherwise, 5 out of 6. Pretty happy about that.
5 out of 6, and we got 4.
I'm satisfied. I went 0 for 2 for the first 2 games, so I kind of made a comeback.
Brought it back.
So I'm still in the race.
You did go for the ballsy call of actually.
I believed in NRG, and that was stupid. Yeah, but
not great.
I learned by my mistakes.
New day tomorrow.
New day.
As someone who actually knows very little about Counter-Strike compared to these guys, I'm very happy I got 4.
You did get the hardest one of the day.
And I got the hardest one. Wasn't a fluke. It was just pure knowledge.
But this is what happens when you train the players yourself.
Yeah, you get an insight that you just can't get as an analyst.
Exactly. Well, there you have it. I'm really excited to see what you have to bring actually for tomorrow.
We'll see. We'll see. What can CLG do now then going into day 2? They are going to have to fight for their lives to go through from this group stage. What can CLG take away from this matchup?
Continue what they did like throughout the later half of the game. They I wouldn't say they made the comeback, but they look promising on their own CT side. That was pretty impressive because NIP were playing well. It's not like NIP's CT side seemed a little bit lackluster, a little bit rusty. It was just CLG putting up the fights and winning the duels. First of all, winning the clutches. You saw Kusta made some pretty impressive plays and the ninja diffuse in the smoke as well. Like he was doing a lot of great stuff for CLG. So I wouldn't necessarily take this loss for CLG as too big of a problem for them. I'm still sure they're confident, and I'm still my favorite to go second team of this group. Sometimes when you lose, you can't let it get to you too much. You just have to think about, okay, we faced the NRP who played well. Let's just refocus, continue on the next game. We have a more likely or less easier opponent coming up next time. So I'm sure they're still confident, and I'm sure they're still like in the race for going out.
Yeah, so let's have a look then at a summary of the day's action so far. Day 1 is now done. We've got 2 semi-finalists, but we've still got 6 teams who are going to be fighting for those last 2 spots in the semi-finals on day 3. Here is what Group A had in store. KPI Gaming again with that upset, and then Heroic going through with 2 16-8s, in fact, to go through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, very impressive show, or very solid showing from Heroic up to that point. Obviously, either Envious or Misfits going home tomorrow early on, and Group B CLG starting off with the win in the domestic matchup versus Energy, and NIP doing the same to their fellow countrymen in Red Reserve. Should be fun to see what Energy and Red Reserve, who didn't necessarily get to show all that much in their first games today, what they can actually bring for the best of 3 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be close. And as you can see, there's the playoff bracket as it stands right now. That's what the remaining 6 teams will be fighting for. So, how was your day? Let's summarize the day. How did you feel like today went?
It's pretty good. A lot of fun games, honestly. Very excited about the Spanish crowd making a lot of noise, especially especially when the hometown team is playing. But you know, they were making noise for everyone when plays were happening. So that was a lot of fun to experience.
Yeah. Same goes for the Spanish team, KPI. They made a lot of noise too. You know, they were playing well. Didn't expect them to win against Envious. I didn't think any of us did, besides
obviously
the expert over here, obviously. But they were playing well in the second game against Heroic as well. It was like it was good to see that they could actually like put on a show, put on a game. Because I was fearing a little bit that like local team coming in, you know, ranked 114th in the world, you know, it didn't look good for them on paper, right? But they played well and they showed that they're here for tomorrow and still in the run for a playoff spot.
Yeah, thank you so much to both of you for making today such an enjoyable experience.
Still got far too kind.
It was great. I've had a lot of fun, and hopefully you guys at home have had a lot of fun as well. We will be back tomorrow morning. We've got 2 more days of this. I just want to quickly thank the sponsors who have made all of this possible. That's ASTRO, Monster Energy, Zowie, Corsair, and Intel. So thank you to all of those companies for making this possible and allowing us to do some esports. Thank you to the Spanish crowd here. Hopefully they come back tomorrow and support KPI, which I'm sure they will. And thank you all for watching at home. We'll be back tomorrow with the rest of the group stages.